All right. Let's see if that actually works. Hey everyone, here's another video stream. It's a Friday night. I don't think we have anything better to do than to spend time with your tanks. So let's do just that then. Okay, first thing first, I'm going to turn off the water flow so you wonderful people can get to see the tank for what it is. I'm gonna spend a little bit. Hey, reefer fish, what's up? I don't know. It's a Friday night, and I got nothing else better to do than to spend some time on the tank. Just got back from a coral show, which was excellent. Just want to make sure that you can hear me well, that audio is coming nice and crispy. And I'm just hooking up my Mobius. Let's play with a few settings here. So I've just turned off my flow. I think it's gonna already be a little bit better. And we're gonna geek out on the tank. The tank is I don't know if I should say it's a mess. It's not. It's actually looking pretty good, but it's one of those things where I think, if anything, it can always be better. So why don't we first try and reposition things a little bit so that you've got the best view. I hope I'm not gonna get... Alright, I think that looks better. You've got a bit of an adjustment. Right on, good. Perfect. I don't know, I think you still have the blade in the view. We don't want that now, do we? Okay, I'm gonna play a little bit with the positioning of the camera, because I want to make sure that you've got the best possible view in the house here. Let's see how we can do that. Oh yeah, I think that's better. What do you think? I think this is even better, and let's see. You can see I'm using a different setup now. It's a wider lens, and you've got a much better view now of the tank. But now I gotta readjust the camera so it's sorry. And I think we are all right. I think we're cooking with gas now. That's much better. Let's just do one last adjustment. Hopefully it doesn't, I don't ruin my camera. All right, that is a pretty dope look right there. Okay, the next thing is I need to turn off my skimmer, because right now it's overflowing. I've been back and forth with kind of tweaking my parameters. Sorry, I'm tweaking my apex here, but I think that looks pretty good. And now I think we've got a good view. You've got a nice crispy looking tank. Let's see if we can make the picture even better without breaking anything. So meanwhile, if you guys have topics you want to cover, just let me know. But I think this is a pretty good view right here. Okay. Let me see if I can tweak the, what happens if I turn off the camera for just a second? Don't worry, I'm still here. And no, I don't think I can change the output at real time. Okay, I think this will do for now in terms of what you can see. Maybe later on I will, so I keep improving upon the video, as you well know. So sometimes I think every single stream is going to be better, but I'm the kind of guy that does things iteratively. And now, what are we going to do next? I think it's time to feed the fish. This is the next thing. But before we feed the fish, we need to put on the gloves. I need to put the gloves because, unfortunately, I can no longer put hands in the water. I think I'm out of gloves, so I will need to order some. Let me know where you like to order your gloves, because I'm pretty much down to the last box. And I do like the black gloves just because I think that looks pretty dope. And I can tell you that the gloves are not created equal. Some gloves are a lot thicker than the others, and you don't feel it when you're working on the frags per se, but the moment you start dealing with rocks and touching rock, this is where I think it shows. All right, I think it's time to feed the fish. What are we gonna feed? I think we're gonna start by this seaweed extreme. So why don't we do that? I think the fish already know that this is coming. I think it's time to just throw a few in the middle here. This dory is absolutely my absolute favorite fish in the whole world. He is incredible. And when I got him, he was a rescue. I'm so happy I got him. He can misbehave. He can move corals around fairly frequently, but he's an absolute beast when it comes to just personality. Look at him. He's like blowing bubbles. He's always friendly. He's happy to see me. He unfortunately has some sort of a hole in his head and all that stuff. I don't know where that's coming from, but he's excellent. He's my favorite fish of them all, and not for the beauty, although he is beautiful. I'm a lot more partial to powder blue tanks in terms of the coloration and aesthetics and all that stuff, but in terms of the personality, this guy is incredible. So let's throw some. I've got more than one tank, and I don't know, I actually have a few ideas on how I want to keep up these streams. If these streams continue, guys, I might make it a little bit more advanced and start kind of switching from multiple aquariums, and you'll get to see a whole bunch of different things. But let's not get ahead of myself here. Let's see if I can brighten things up a little bit for you. How do I do it in this camera? Right here. I think this is going to be a little bit nicer. All right. So that's pretty cool. And you got to see a whole bunch of coral. This is what I deal with on an everyday basis. This is kind of my grow out section on the left, and what you see on the right, this is all the different corals that I frag. So everything that you see here, I've fragged myself. It's all from this particular system. Actually, you know what, let's make it a little bit darker. I think this is nicer. All right, so what are we going to do today is we are going to play a little bit with coral organization. So what you see is my frag rack. So this is a frag rack that I've designed. It's modular. So the cool thing is that it's standard. So this is 9 by 9 cells of standard egg crate, and I can move things around. I can replace it with the acrylic kind of plates if I wanted to, but it's super easy to work on the tank. This is kind of the whole idea. So we are going to take my absolute favorite tweezers. I never deal with a tank without it, and I'll show you kind of what I'm talking about here. So let's start with kind of this section over here. So the nice thing is that if I'm going to a coral show, and I just came back from a coral show this weekend. Ooh, look at that. I think we've got a, what is that? This is a Marvin the Martian that got dislodged from its coral frag plug. So I'm going to now just glue it back in as I keep talking over here. So I just came back from a coral show, which I think was a really good one. And we had a few issues. Unfortunately, you know, the positives about the show were that it was a little bit closer to Toronto. So for those of you who do not know, I'm located in Toronto, Canada. And unfortunately, that particular place, although I think it was a nice venue, later on we realized that it was connected, or it was right above a pool, swimming pool. And what I've noticed, first of all, it got really, really hot very, very quickly. And also, I think there was some fumes coming from the pool, primarily I think chlorine, that certainly wasn't helping when it comes to coral health. And that was a problem. So I think a few folks had some issues. Even, you know, myself, the corals that I brought, luckily I came in the morning, so the corals and the tank didn't sit there for the whole night. Otherwise, I think it would have been worse. But you know, usually maybe towards the end of the day, the corals start to feel it, where certain corals that are a little bit more finicky will start closing up. But in this particular coral show, the corals were starting to close or not fully extend a lot earlier, and that was a problem. So I did notice that, and you know, my system wasn't really affected that much, but some other guys unfortunately have, which was a problem. All right, so while we're gluing Marvin the Martian, I think it's time to start working on the egg crate. So one thing about the egg crate is, I mean, many of you know, but some of you don't, it has two sides, so it's not equal on both sides. One side is thicker and the other one is thinner. And I always try to have the thin side up because, well, I'll tell you why. Because when the thin side up, then it can be used with the legs that we manufacture at Treasure Corals. They just snap in without any glue, and I can easily remove it. And the price tags are designed to go on the top, on the thinner side. So it's all done by design. Okay, let's place this egg crate right here. And since this section here is fairly high light, then that's what we are going to do. So I've got a bunch of those pink corals, which are pretty cool. I don't know the name. I gotta look it up and see if anybody has a name. But it's a nice, just very, very bright pink or lavender kind of coral. And it will take as much light as you give it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna start slowly moving all of the corals here. And I always try to check to see if the coral is healthy and it's looking good, which in this case it does. A lot of corals are encrusted. Now, again, I get asked by a lot of folks in the States if they can buy the corals. So it's treasurecorals.com, and unfortunately the answer is no, because we cannot ship corals from Canada to US over the border. However, anything dry goods related, I can certainly do. So more coral here. Let's see. And you may notice that here the corals are really spread out. And it's really, really nice for when you go to a coral show. But to conserve space, and I have a lot of frags, I try to keep the coral a lot closer to each other. And that really helps conserve space. Most of the corals are not touching, but look at how encrusted everything is. So a lot of corals I let to grow out for weeks before they will be available for sale. And if anything, as of late, I have not been offering or updating the website much, just because I was preparing for the coral show. But now that I'm back, and it's the first weekend that I'm back, I'm gonna start slowly putting things together and kind of working my way through it. So notice that I am looking at every coral, examining it, and I don't know, I gotta name this pink coral somehow. I don't know yet how. So probably I'm gonna be posting something on a forum where people can help me ID it. So this is another favorite, the forest fire digitata. This thing, for whatever reason, at every coral show, people really, really like it. And the coral show I'm talking about is, look at how friendly this guy is. Look, I can touch him. Hey, buddy. And he doesn't mind. He's not skittish. He knows I'm not. Hey, buddy. He is not going to be afraid of me or. Look, I've never seen a fish that friendly. Like, he is incredible. Okay, I gotta feed him now, just because he clearly shows how friendly he is. And as we do this, I think the Marvin the Martian is ready to be put back in the tank. I don't know yet where I'm gonna put him. Maybe I'll put him right here. So I was going to feed the fish. So let me just dry my hands. And then we are going sizzler. Oh, right here. I think I'm gonna use another food. Let's do a little bit of this New Life Spectrum food. Hey, come on. Come on. Come on. All right. Be that way. Just start Start going at it, guys. It's a lot of fun. Nice. Everybody's nice and hungry. So I still need to do my big video on polyp extension, which is coming. But one thing at a time. First, I just want to... I find there's so much work with the tank and trying to do everything that kind of the way I try to work it is just finding one thing and not think about the rest and just kind of doing it. Because otherwise you know, this is not my full-time job, this is my hobby. And I want to make sure that I still do it right, you know? All right, let's see, what have we got here? We got a couple of frags that are just kind of dislodged and are on the ground. I think I also have a dead... Should I toss this guy? I think I'm gonna toss it. Sometimes it's just not worth recovering a coral unless it's a particular coral that is either very expensive. Okay, this is a nice one. This is a little red Ferrari. Now, I've got a water that just kicked in. So I'm going to turn off the water flow once again. So go maintenance on my Mobius, and off we go. And as we do it, we are gonna get the Mobius handy. All right, how is everybody else doing? What's happening on this Friday? Are people out? Are they people with their tanks? Is there? What do you think the hobby is going? I don't know. I was a little bit down on the whole hobby thing early on, just because of the you know, the world news and everything else. But maybe things will work themselves out somehow. I'm certainly hoping for that. And my goal is just to keep farming, I'm a big believer in sustained local aquaculture. And I'm hoping one day we will be in a situation where everybody has incredible good-looking coral in their tanks. Like, look at an example of rainbow loom. That's a good example. I was just looking at Facebook the other day, and there were some folks selling just incredible rainbow looms for $30. I think that's really not expensive when it comes to what you are getting. Like, I'm talking about multiple heads, beautiful coloration, like exemplary coloration. And I mean, here's kind of my rainbow loom. It's not bad. I think it can even be better, but it's definitely not bad. I don't know yet where this is gonna go, but let's first see. I've got one more coral that has dislodged. This is a green slimer. Very boring coral, but I think every tank needs one because it's a fast grower. It's kind of like a clownfish. So I've never in my entire life, in I don't know, 15 years of reef keeping, I've never kept a fancy clown. And there was not a single time when I was like, oh, I'm missing out. I need a fancy clownfish. It just never did it for me. I like fancy coral. So I like the Walt Disneys of the world and whatever these guys are, but I don't really care for any of these high-end clownfish. But here it is. So this is my little red Ferrari. Now the little red Ferrari, we don't want it to be under very, very strong light. Although over here it's going to be fairly strong as well, but I think I'm going to put it a little bit off to the side. So I'm going to take this guy, another egg crate. This egg crate again, remember, it's not created equal. The egg crate has two parts. There's or two sides. There's the thin side and the thick side, and I'm going to go with the thin side up. This is how I've always done all of my frags. Oh, just don't drop it. Don't drop it. I don't want to put my hands in the tank over here. Come on. Come on. All right, perfect. So we've located it. All right, what else have we got here? As we are doing this, I think the red Monties can go off to the side. So why don't we put one over here? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this can go in a corner over here. And slowly start moving things around. Just kind of getting them all in the same spot, similar, so that everything is nicely organized. So things kind of come together. So the other one, so we have little red Ferrari, but here on this angle, we're gonna start with some red dragons or purple dragons. I don't know which one I've got. I think I think it's purple to me. So let's call it purple dragon. One more. And by the way, you can find all of these guys on my website, treasurecorals.com. Okay, do I see another little red Ferrari? Yes, I do. There's not that many, but it's a nice two-header. And you know what? I think we're gonna look for more of the kind of the same species. So which ones are the same? Little red Ferrari, purple dragon, and needle in the haystack. Now, unfortunately, I don't think I have any more of the needle in the haystack. I'm surprised, but oh no, there's only one. So that's all I've got. I'm gonna put it right over here. So at least this way everything is nicely grouped. And I think that's it. So then this corner here is gonna be my green slimers. I've got a few. Hey fish, behave. Here's another one. How many more of green slimers I've got? Oh, I have more than I thought. So then again, I need to rejig my red Monties. But again, the goal here is try to maximize my screen real estate or aquarium real estate. I don't want to run out of it, because otherwise then it's a lot harder to figure out what's what. So we got another one over here, and I think I have space for one more. Do I have one more green slimer? Yeah, I do have one more green slimer right here. Okay. Does anybody want a green slimer? Or this is something where you just gonna go like, oh no, I don't care for it whatsoever. I'm curious. All right. What have I been gluing over here? I have one more green slimer, and now I think I have too many. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I have 10 green slimers. I have one extra green slimer here. What do? I don't know. I'm gonna have to do something about it. All right, what else can we do to clean the tank, to just remove these corals? I think the next we are gonna start going with Seriatopora. Seriatopora is bird's nest. That's a really cool coral in my opinion. Again, let's have another. So we've got some mess over here. I don't know if I want to clean the tank right now. Maybe I will. It's one of those things where sometimes it makes sense to just clean things proactively, if you know what I mean. However, it's not as easy as it sounds. Actually, I think we can make it as easy as it sounds. So I've got another snail that is not doing very well, eh? What's happening here? So you know what you do when you have a snail that is kind of on its back? You smell it. And then you see if it's, when you start to open it up, if it detracts. If it does, then it's still healthy. But this guy is not, so it's not smelling, but it's also not reacting. I think this guy is toast, unfortunately. But since we are cleaning things and I have some open space here, why don't I show you how I clean the tank? So it's actually pretty cool. I'm pretty proud of the way I'm doing it. So the way we do it is we need a hose. So I'm grabbing one right now. And another thing that we do need is a couple of buckets. I find that one bucket is just not enough to do a nice thorough cleaning, but 2 buckets are usually just great. And it's also, I think of it as a nice little water change. I do continuous water changing, so I change a lot of water, but there's no such thing as too little of a water change. I'm a big believer of changing as much water as you can. So I have taken, all right, this is a very satisfying part. So first you gotta clean the tank. Sorry, clean the bucket. I have a bucket with a lot of skim mate over here. So that's gonna be, that's not me peeing, this is me just cleaning the bucket. And when I do this, another thing that I try to do is get the starfish out as much as possible. So I personally consider this Asterinus starfish a nuisance. It's not harmful, but it's just a nuisance. And this is a perfect example, or this is a perfect opportunity to clean things up. All right, we've got the hose. Now, remember, it puts a lotion on the skin. Oops, or else it gets the hose again. So here's the hose. And that's one thing I never like is getting, phew, phew, phew. That's always disgusting. All right, we've got the hose going. And now, as it goes, and I've got my trusty glove on, I can go in and start kind of going at it and cleaning everything up, hoping that nothing will get stuck. So, do you want to know what the trick is for having an A+ aquarium? Really, there's only one thing, and that is the amount of time that you're going to put into the tank. Because the more time you put, the more time you spend just looking after every aspect of the tank, the better it's going to look. All right, so now, as I'm working on this side here, it's a perfect opportunity for me to get rid of some of this pesky starfish, whatever I can grab. I did before try to really go at it and try to get every starfish out, but unfortunately I can assure you that does not work. And having the harlequin shrimp, while they tell you at the stores that, oh, you know, get it and it will get rid of it, that's just not true in my humble opinion. That is completely not true. All right, so we've got some starfish out, a little bit more here. So right now we are half bottle full. So still not there fully. But the nice thing is I can really then take my time and get into every little crevice over here. Sometimes the suction is not that great, and that is usually when there's a bigger piece of something that kind of got in the way. So I am going to examine that in a second, because usually it shouldn't take this long. But you see, it's going, just not going the way or as fast as I was hoping for. So I'm going to, oh, I know why. I see the big bottleneck here. I see a big bottleneck in the hose, and I'm hoping I will be able to get this one out. Otherwise it's a little bit of a kink. All right, so what are we saying? Do a giveaway. Giveaway. Mati, where are you located? And Van Reef, I have a question about AquaWiz. Is that machine allowed when running? You know what? Oh, sorry. What did I think I just dropped something off my trident. So that's a good question. I'll be honest. Some machines I did find are a lot quieter than the others. I think it just depends on the pump. But I know what you mean with the Trident, and I think it's a different. Sorry, I'm just banging my. I apologize. Just trying to get the water out of, or the dirt out of my my hose. So I have two units. I have three different units, and the unit in my farm where we are right now, I don't hear at all, and I will hear when my Trident is running. So it is stunningly quiet. So even without the cabinet. The second unit that I've hooked up, it was in my kitchen where I definitely would hear like a pump running, but it wasn't as loud as Trident. But when I put it in the cabinet, then I no longer hear it at all. And I'm very particular about the sounds. The third unit, the one that I have in on my Hello Reef, that one, for whatever reason, is probably the one I hear the most, but I'm also right next to it in a very small room. It's a tiny room. And yeah, I would certainly hear when it's running, but the other two are I never hear them ever again. So that's my personal experience of this thing, and I'm not sure. I'm probably gonna talk to the aqua folks at some point to understand that thing, but it certainly is not a point of major concern for me at this time, especially on these two systems. And I've been running this for a while. So the nice thing about it is I guess how I don't need to calibrate it really. So one of the units I've been running for I think 2 months now, without any calibration, and then when I compared it to the other tank, when I brought out my reefer, and when I compared it to my Hannah, after 2 months of running it, it was identical to the point where it was like within point 0.1 or something like that. It was crazy. Like, I was very impressed. Notice how this damsel is trying to kick me. These guys are pretty hilarious. Okay, so notice what I'm doing here. I'm just taking this opportunity to get that a few spots where I may have like a dead area, and just get this starfish out at the same time. So I'm kind of trying to do two things at the same time. I'm hoping one day to have a tank with no Asturina starfish, but I'm yet to see how it's even possible. Like these guys, you think you get rid of everything that's on display, there's still something hidden somewhere. And that is, I mean, they don't hurt anything, but I just find that they are a little bit unsightly, you know? All right, so let's just do this. My other tank is almost full, but not quite. So I'm gonna use this opportunity to just kind of get the last pieces of detritus out. Oh, I don't want, all right. I also got this frag caught in. I hate when it happens. Now I need to get that forest fire DG. Come on. That's stuck in the hose. But with a little bit of patience, a little bit of elbow grease, we'll get this guy out somehow. Come on. I'm almost there. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. So there is a reason why I'm so down on, or I'm so, I don't know what's the right term. Like I love AquaViz. The moment I put it on my tank, it was love at first sight. And I realized that I needed one on my tank. It's just been an exceptional experience overall. Now, that is my experience. There's just something about not having to deal with the reagents at all and having one line. I hate reagents. So if there's any opportunity or any way for me not to use reagents, I will do that. Yeah, you're welcome. Sorry, this is as good of an answer I can give you at this time. All right, so we've got one more forest fire that needs to be replugged. Do I see a single frag plug here that I can reuse? No, I do not. That means that I'm gonna have to find a plug in the bottom. So here's another thought when it comes to corals and pricing and everything else. I mean, there are multiple models of people trying to make this as a business. And, you know, I fully get stores that bring the corals in from the wild and then they chop, and then try to sell it. And also, you know, there's nothing wrong with getting the colonies from hobbyists, especially the ones that don't want to deal with this. You know, they bring it in, they get a little bit of money back. I think everybody's happy. This is awesome. But that's not how I roll. I actually enjoy the process of growing a coral from a frag. And for me, it's all about the sustainable aquaculture and knowing every coral, growing it from a tiny frag to kind of what you see over here. So every single colony that you see here, even the big ones, I've grown from tiny little frags. And I'm very proud of it. It's a lot of work, and you know, it's a weird market overall. Some folks, you know, different strokes for different folks kind of thing. So, but I never look back. And I think it's important to provide that kind of service for your local community. So just everybody has to find their own niche and what they like doing. I like to figure out a way to color up the coral. Again, I'm not peeing right now, although it may sound like this. I am just cleaning the 2 buckets of dirt water that I've taken out of the tank. This is pretty awesome as well. So just kind of get it out, clean it, and get the next one in. So today we're doing a 10-gallon water change in addition to my regular water changes. So every time I either sell coral, like I always think of it as a great opportunity to do a coral water change. So, okay, Maddie, I don't know if you're still listening, but you're saying do a giveaway. All right, I can do a giveaway. Why don't we do this? Um, if you are in Toronto and you are willing to, do a local pickup, I will be giving away a. Let me think. We'll start small. I'm giving away a free $20 frag to anybody who has liked. Well, I cannot do it to everybody, but I'm giving away a frag to the top. So to the first 5 people that will claim it, that will like this stream. So every single person will get a $20 frag from my system. You just gotta message me. So like it and share it. Why don't we do this? And then if you can just message me that, you get a $20 frag for free. Why don't we do this? This is this is my coral giveaway right there. Let's see if people will do it. That'll be fun. Guys, this is gonna be great. I think I really like doing these little streams just because you get to share your experience with others. All right, so we've got another forest fire here. What else have we got? Ooh, I know. I have this amazing, I think it's just like a spatulata. So why don't we then take it, and I'm gonna put it right here. That's a dope coral that's been coloring up very, very nicely, and it can handle a lot of light, in my opinion. So I think I have a few more of it. So 1, 2, 3. I thought did I sell it at the show? Not sure. All right, so we've got that, and why don't we start with Barney on the other side in the corner? That's another one of my absolute favorite corals. Barney is phenomenal. That's a beautiful, beautiful coral. Right over here. Purple with hints of a whole bunch of other colors. Really, really cool. Da, 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 da. So let's find every single Barney that I've got here. I need to start fragging some. I sold today a beautiful colony of Barney. And by the way, if you are in GTA and if you are interested in a colony, let me know, message me, and I will try to figure something out for you. The reason is I'm not going to ship a colony across the country just because I think they will not ship as well as individual corals. That's just my thought that goes into it. All right, so we've got more and more corals kind of starting to clear out over here. This is really, really cool as well. I've got this beautiful set of corals that are also pink, but a completely different type of pink. So I gotta do something about that as well. Let's first move these guys over. Maybe we'll move them over here. I have a mandarin fish, so that's another interesting thing. Like, for the longest time I was thinking I could not keep a mandarin fish in a frag tank because there's not as much live rock. I think I was wrong. This guy has been here for a while, and he is been doing very, very well. Okay, I think it's time to move this guy over here. And then I will be able to move another frag over here at some point. But, as I was saying, I gotta bring another little egg crate. Thank God for egg crates. They are the best invention in the world. And I think here, I know what's gonna go here first. It's gonna be one of my absolute favorite corals, the rainbow loom. So, rainbow looms are beyond awesome, in my opinion. It's not the most expensive coral there at all, but for what you get, come on. You got multiple colors. Beautiful, beautiful guys. So definitely worth having as a coral, in my opinion. Okay, I've got a few more rainbow looms. 9 and 10. So we've got some rainbow looms over here. Do I have more rainbow looms? Yes, I do. Wow, I do have a lot. Do I want to do a sale on a rainbow loom? I don't know. I don't think so. I think I'm pretty happy having them with me over here. But I think I'm gonna do something with this guy here. It's a process, right, guys? So I have this rainbow loom that has encrusted so much that the whole stem is covered in rainbow loom. So I'm just kind of breaking this off so that then this way it's going to be a much more sellable piece of coral. All right, so we got that one over here. See, and now it's a beautiful coral that somebody will be happy to have. All right, another coral that is very underrated, and it is one of my absolute favorites is this autumn blaze. So the reason is people, I think it's a bit of a sleeper of the bunch because it is I don't know, it's green, right? So some folks have an issue with a green coral. They want more color, and you know what? I don't blame you. But to me, oh, I found another beautiful needle in a haystack. This is awesome. So there's two somewhat similar corals. There's a Mountain Dew, which we're gonna put right over here. It's nice. And I think I'm gonna put it right here. So the Mountain Dew is really nice because it's got pointy ends, and it has, how many do I have? Am I starting to run out of Mountain Dews? Which is very surprising. I thought I had more, that's for sure. But the nice thing about the Mountain Dews is that they are very, they have the polyps out. So to me, anytime I have coral that has kind of polyps, maybe not on the millipora scale, but close to that, I think that's awesome. And I think a lot of folks like this as well. So that to me is one of those guys. Okay, we've got AC Fireworks. That is a beautiful coral. Did you know that the tweezers here can swim? It's really, really cool, eh? I have several of, so every time we go to a coral show, we usually sell these out. It's one of our biggest seller. I don't sell as much on the website for whatever reason. I think people don't really, I don't know, they can't really feel it, but when they do, that's where they kind of go, oh yeah, this is very nice. So when they hold their hand in their hand, usually they will buy it on the spot right there. All right, this is a gorgeous coral. This is a magic carpet. I think I only have one piece. That's another gorgeous coral. I think I'm gonna keep it a little bit off to the side. I think I found another speculata, which is great. What is gonna go over here? I think this is where I think this guy is the same. So I think I have a surplus of some of those corals. What do you do with a surplus of coral? Do you do a sale? I don't know. Maybe I should do a little sale at some point of the corals that I have too many of. They're all so nice. Okay, this guy has clearly overgrown the frag rack right there. Okay, we've got another. Holy smokes, I do have a lot of rainbow looms. Okay, maybe that will be my next stream giveaway. So not this one. Don't get your hopes up. But the next one, I think I will do some sort of a big giveaway when it comes to rainbow looms. Is that fair? I think it is. All right, Mountain Dew over here. It can handle a lot of light. And I think the water is starting to come up. Oh my God, it's 10 o'clock. You know what? I think I'm gonna call it a night. I'll see you guys on the next stream. Thanks for joining.